Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, October 16th. Again, I'm sorry we're late. You know, when I came into the Capitol and everything, there was a group of folks outside from the country of India, and, you know, we took a whole lot of pictures and everything, and they were excited about all the things that are happening in West Virginia, and who knows, who knows what's going to be next. But nevertheless, if I could just say just this, we had another nice honor that was bestowed upon the great state of West Virginia, and I guess me to some degree, but more to all the good stuff that we're doing in this unbelievable state, and our dedication to doing it with fiscal responsibility. And maybe, we got Larry Pack, my senior advisor, and he's going to tell you a little bit more and everything, so I'm going to turn to him for just a second.
So much for the opportunity, but yes, West Virginia has been recognized again for their fiscal stewardship, and you've been. It's been announced today from the Cato Institute, which is one of the leading think tanks in the country, that you are ranked number 3 of all governors in the state of West Virginia for your fiscal stewardship. They look at the budget and how you're spending the state's money and the amount of money that you're spending, along with tax cuts. So you're number 3 in the country. You far outpass every surrounding governor from the state of West Virginia, and I know that's one of your big precepts, is we want to do everything we can to compete with the governments and the governors around our state of West Virginia. You've definitely outclassed them and outclassed the definitely much more popular governors around the country. But again, it's just a recognition of the work that's been done over your 2 terms as governor. We have a lot to be proud about, but your leadership has brought us to this ranking today. Again, recognized by one of the leading think tanks in the United States. So congratulations, Governor. Well done. Let's keep going.
No, Larry, thank you so much. And, I know we're going to be in good hands at the treasurer's office and a lot of different offices, and I wish us the very best when I go a little bit different way. But nevertheless, it's a big honor for West Virginia, and it humbles me. But with all that being said, I think we just keep going. We run through the finish line. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you so much for all your help.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today I'm announcing that Raymond Funkhauser, is going to be, that he, excuse me, I'm appointing Raymond Funkhauser to the 98th District in the House of Delegates in Jefferson County. Funkhauser will replace Paul Espinosa, and Paul is going to be moving to our Racing Commission. I wish both of them the very, very best. Raymond, has won the primary, and he's going to absolutely win in January. And we think he's going to do a fabulous job. And so today was an opportunity for me to appoint him and everything. And I hope he'll come down and see me real soon. But I know he's a popular choice, and rightfully so. He won the primary going away, and so we wish Raymond the very best, and he'll do a great job. Okay, a National Guard update. They have, when we activated the members to go down, to the situation in Florida and everything, they've completed their original mission and everything. They've, thank goodness there was less destruction, from Hurricane Milton than we anticipated, and so, I never can thank our National Guard enough. They're always ready to go. They're super willing. They're always stepping up and doing great stuff for us. When we have a disaster or we have one of these nasty storms and everything in West Virginia, but they not only do that, but they step up all across this great nation and all across the globe. Please always keep your prayers these great men and women with our National Guard, because they are superstars in every way. And again, they've stepped up, and thank goodness we didn't have the devastation in Florida that we anticipated. We were looking at a Category 5. It moved down to a Category 4 hurricane, coming right dead to hit the west coast of Florida. And I guess it moved across very quickly, and the damage was not to the extent of what we expected. Bridge Day is on Saturday. Get out to Bridge Day. Please do that. It's a proud tradition in West Virginia. Tens of thousands of people will be there. The weather will be spectacular beyond belief. And the only excuse that you have for not going to the WVU football game or watching the WVU football game is just this, Bridge Day. But beyond that, I expect you to really tune into the WVU game, because Baby Dog's going to be flipping the coin, the coin flip, and not only that, we're going to pull WVU through to a victory, and Baby Dog is predicting nothing but a victory, a victory, a victory, and the other flip side of it is tens of thousands will be at Bridge Day. Go and enjoy and everything, and just see how God will be showing off all across this great state and everything, with the beauty beyond belief. We've gotten a little bit of cold weather, and the leaves should be really shining and turning on and everything. And so go to Bridge Day. Okay, I'm pleased to announce that I have appointed my Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Cercea, to fill the judicial vacancy in the 29th Judicial Circuit. So Mark, again, you've been a superstar, working with us and everything. You'll be an unbelievable judge, and we know that your resume is outstanding beyond belief. And so, Mark, we congratulate you, and it's been a great big honor to work with you. You've done great work and everything, and now go on and just make us even more proud as one of our judges. And I don't think anybody could ever dispute the credentials that you have to take this position. So, and in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to move our Deputy Secretary, Rob Cunningham, into this position as an interim. And Rob, what a job Rob does, and he's done it forevermore. And so congratulations to both these folks. Okay, a Baby Dog recap. Yesterday was our birthday. We were all over the place and everything. Some really nice stuff. We were at Barbersville Middle School, and there was, honestly, I think there she is, the Barbersville Patriot. A lot of these pictures I don't see till they flash them up here. So, but all those kids. We had an opportunity to address those kids and maybe, instill some additional hope. What an incredible bunch of kids. I think there was 1,280 students there, so, they all came by. They all got to pet and say hi to Baby Dog and everything, and really, really nice. Just a great day to encourage our students and everything. And Kathy and I just loved it to death. And I've seen these pictures 10 million times, not this picture, but I've seen pictures 10 million times. It's amazing beyond belief how I am talking to the kids or talking to the whomever, and Baby Dog's dialed right into what I'm saying. So we wish her a happy birthday, and it was a great, great, great day. Then, wait a minute, let me tell you one last thing. We left Barbersville Middle, and Game Changers we'd had this on the schedule for a long time, but we left Barbersville Middle, and off we went to John Marshall, and, in Ohio County or in the northern part of the state. We landed at Wheeling, and because we had made a commitment that we were going to the Game Changers event there. There was, I don't know how many people, probably well over 1,000 people there. And so we joined them and everything toward their end of their program and everything. But Joe Bozick has done a wonderful job with Game Changers. I'm their head coach in West Virginia. And with Kathy and all the intertwining that happens with communities and schools, and Game Changers is the drug component to the whole thing, and warning kids and everything to stay away and all that great stuff. I told the story yesterday about a young lady that we lost, and lo and behold, from fentanyl, one dose, lost her. She ended up, she had a long time ago, not a long time ago, but a few years back, she played basketball for me. And God knows we miss her, and it was tragic beyond belief. I had the opportunity to speak to the kids there, maybe instill some wisdom and some hope and tell the story about losing that incredible lady, incredible girl. So again, and everybody, I said this over and over to the folks, to the superintendent, in that county, and on and on and on. But now just stay with me just one more second, and let me just tell you this. But those kids were unbelievable. I mean, they were unflat believable. You can't imagine all these kids, coming up and saying hello and everything, but their manners were off the chart. Whether it was at Barbersville or John Marshall, or Moundsville Middle, that it was amazing just how good these kids were. So hats off to all the teachers, all the administration, all the people, the parents, all the people that are contributing to make our kids better and better and better as they go forward in the future. Okay. I guess day before yesterday we cut the ribbon on the Heritage Highway and everything that is part of our Mountain Rides program. It's the fifth route we've done. You see Chelsea Ruby and Randy Dandrum there. I think it's Randy. I can't see really good, but nevertheless, what this is for motorcycles primarily, and sports cars, people that love to get out and just drive on a wonderful drive and see how this state shows off in every way. It used to be, now let's be fair again, there was a time not very long ago when the last thing on earth we could show off was our roads. I mean, are you kidding me? In West Virginia, we're showing off our roads? Well, there was a time not long ago when we couldn't make it to the convenience store without tearing our vehicles all to pieces. And that's the route that you see right there. It's probably a couple 100 miles. But with all that being said, now we're showing off our roads in West Virginia. I mean, how can it be better than that? I mean, that's just all there is to it. So for Chelsea, for Jimmy Riston at our highways, at the leader of the band of our highways and our transportation department, thank you so much. And thank everybody, because really at the end of the day, this is absolutely another strong marketing tool that we can absolutely just begin and do what we're doing over and over. We're showing the world how good we are in West Virginia. And nothing could be better than that. So let's just keep doing it. Absolutely, great stuff. And the only other thing that I would tell you is, and you got to just maybe close your ears just a little bit to this, but there was about 8 ladies there. They all had their leather outfits on and everything that you wear riding a motorcycle, just from a safety standpoint. They were very, very proud that they called themselves the, and I'm going to use Heine, but Bad Heine Girls. And but they were there getting ready to go on their ride and everything, and we wish them the very best. Okay, like I said, the fall foliage is really, hanging on a whole lot longer than what we expected. I guess the dry weather, it was so bad, and it looked like, that all that was going to our leaves were going to all turn at one time or fall off or whatever, and the poplar trees were really turning prematurely and turning their yellow early and everything. But now what's happening is a lot of the trees, are hanging onto their leaves and everything. You can see that in this picture and everything. And now we've gotten a snap of really kind of cold, clear frosty type mornings and everything. And lo and behold, we'll get some additional real color, and it's lingered longer than we thought. So get out and enjoy. Get out and enjoy our parks and all the different places you can go in West Virginia. It's good stuff. Good stuff. The artistry competition returns. I'm excited to announce the return of the First Lady Artistry Initiative, and I'll invite West Virginians of all ages to participate. This is in regard to making an ornament and everything for our Christmas trees here at the Capitol, and so, you know, go online, check everything out and everything, and we'd love to have you with your handcrafted amazements, just jump in and submit your entries and everything, and we'll select winners, and it'll be really good stuff. Okay, we have a Filipino Heritage Festival, and that's really great stuff, and we salute Jill Upson and all the great work that she's doing. I think this is, this is the first Filipino Heritage Festival that is happening at the Capitol Complex on Saturday, October 19th. You'll have another excuse for going to a spot other than the WVU game or whatever, and that's this. Please consider, because there'll be a lot of really, featured, dance performances and authentic Filipino cuisine. There'll be food vendors and fun activities and everything. And Jill just keep doing great work. Jill has done an amazing work for the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs. And Jill, we really congratulate you on all your successes, because you've been great. Let me jump to something else. This is about promoting ourselves. That's all there is to it. This is this monster trout stocking. We've put in some amazing big fish, and we're going to do more of that from October 21st to the 28th. And we'll be stocking 40 lakes and streams with monster-sized trout and everything. And if you happen to catch one of these, submit your entry and everything, and because there's prizes, there's stays at our cabins in our state parks, and there's prizes from Cabela's too. So enter. That's all there is to it. Last thing is, there was a few years back we almost lost Wheeling University, and maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I feel very proud that I did. I basically put a stake in the sand and jumped in and helped and said, we're not losing this school. That's all there is to it. And then all of a sudden their rugby team, they qualified for the national, finals, or not finals, but championship, in the bracket. And I was really proud of them. But now I am telling you, they just won the National Rugby Championship, Wheeling University. A school that wouldn't have been there if we'd have just said, well, we've done all we can do. Well, that doesn't work with me. That's all there is to it. It never has worked, and it doesn't work with me. So we congratulate Wheeling University, and absolutely, we congratulate this amazing team that's just won a national championship from West Virginia. So awful good stuff. The last thing I'd say to you is just this. Yesterday we were traveling around everywhere. It's Baby Dog's birthday, and we were going and seeing a lot of neat stuff. At the same time, Jay and Jill and Adam and Jill's husband and all of them were working and everything, because they were finalizing, crossing the T's and dotting the I's in regard to the situation at the Greenbrier, and putting that all to bed and everything. And from time to time during the course of the day, I'd check in with them and say, have you finished the stuff and everything? And they would say, no, they didn't quite get it finished, and all that kind of stuff. And wires were supposed to happen, and there was different things that were going on. We were retiring and getting rid of the beltway, noise and all that was out there. And I tell you over and over, I tell you just this, that beltway situation was nothing but political, no matter what anybody would try to tell you. And from my standpoint, I've given of myself to all of you, and I have. And I really, truly don't want anything. I don't need any credit. I've never asked you for anything, nothing. And in doing so, a lot of times there's stuff that comes that's bad, really bad. You know, and this was taking advantage and you know, something that was not fair at all. And it's cost us an unbelievable amount of money. And there was no choice in the world. You could let 2,000 people suffer because of a bad act that was happening to the Justice family, or you could find a way. Well, that's what we did. And it was not any fun, and it's cost us a lot of money. But in doing so, you know, like I said, we'd driven to Barbersville, we'd driven to the Huntington Airport, we flew to the Game Changers thing in Wheeling, drove to Moundsville, and we were at John Marshall, and doing the Game Changers thing with all those kids, and then back to the Wheeling Airport. And through all that day, you know, there was a little bit of rain, and nothing bad as far as the rain, but just a misty, kind of dreary kind of day. And at the same time, Jay and Jill were back working their hind ends off to try to close the situation with the Beltway situation and all that was going on. So I'm sitting at the Wheeling Airport. We're about to get ready to get on the plane to come back home, okay? And so we're sitting right outside right there, and then Kathy and I, and this is where I've said to you so many times, all of a sudden the phone rings and Jay says, we're done. Everything's taken care of, we're done, you know, and I said, well, that's great, Jay. You know, I'm just getting ready to head back, you know, and I'm getting ready to get on the plane and everything, and that's great. Good news, and Jill's on the other line saying, done, everything's taken care of. Okay, good news. And so I go to get out of the plane, or get out of my vehicle that's sitting there, or, you know, and when I step out one side, Kathy steps out the other side. We've still got baby dog in the back, and the troopers already gotten on the plane. And I go to step out, and there's, like I said to you so many times in life, you know, God always shows up. He's in our lives everywhere, and he always shows up, you know, and if we'll just look around, you can see him. You can see him at work all the time. Now, on this day, we've been all over the place. We've celebrated with a bunch of kids and everything, baby dog's birthday, Game Changers, and everything else on the sun. And at the same time, you know, I know that Jay and Jill are going through the dickens trying to get this thing all wrapped up on this Beltway thing, and at the very same time. Now, the call comes to me, and Jay says, we're done. And Jill says, we're done, everything's fine, we're done, and everything. So I said, well, okay, and I'm getting on the plane anyway. And I opened the door to the plane to get out of the Suburban, and Kathy getting out on the other side and everything, and us get baby dog on the plane. And when we open the door, like I said, it's not raining, it's a little mist and everything. But when I opened the door, I turned and looked back behind me. And Jay had just called. Remember that Jay had just called and said, we're done. And we had had an incredible experience with baby dog all day, and those incredible kids and everything. And maybe we just were able to help some kids stay away from this terrible fentanyl and drugs and all this kind of stuff that's going on. And we just opened the door. And I turned around and looked, and here's what I saw. Now think about that. Have I told you so many times? God always shows up, always. And if you look really close on the right-hand side of that rainbow, you know, and CJ, have you got that picture? That's where we're going to taxi down to and take off as we're getting on the plane. You know, absolutely incredible day in the Justice family and my life, but I would tell you all just this. Just remember who's in real command, who's really in command, and absolutely turn your issues, turn your life, the good, the bad, whatever, turn it over to God above. He's there. He's there all the time. So the last thing is, when we got home and everything, the Lewisburg Elementary School, where our grandson JC goes and everything, they had a thing where they were painting a rock and everything, and if it's your birthday, they'll paint a rock, and you donate like $10 or something like that. And so yesterday was the first day they started on painting the rock, and Jill did this and called me and told me I ought to go by Lewisburg Elementary. So when we got home, you know, later, I went by right before dark, and look what they put on the rock. So there's baby dog and myself, and man, I still believe she's a load. But it was a great, great, great day in our life, and God bless each and every one of you. That's all I've got. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Governor. We'll now take questions from members of the media. First up today is Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I wanted to ask about the event in Pennsylvania that you're going to be participating in tomorrow. Do you have any indication that former President Trump will be there? And do you plan to participate in any more of these events in the last couple of weeks we have between now and the election? Thank you. Okay,
Charles, I don't know for sure if President Trump will be at this one. I'm doing several, and you know, right now I think there's 5 on tap. I'm doing 2 in North Carolina and 3 in Pennsylvania. I really truly believe that Pennsylvania is so pivotal. It's unbelievable. I really believe the entire election hinges on Pennsylvania. I want to try to help President Trump in any way I possibly can. He has reached out, you know, on different occasions, saying, that he'd surely like me to do what I can in Pennsylvania. I'm doing that, and then I'm going to North Carolina for a couple of events, there, and probably we'll end up with even 2 or 3 more in Pennsylvania, or at least a couple more. But Charles, I don't know for sure if President Trump's going to be there. He asked me, he said, how's the best way to do this and everything? And, of course, shoot, who am I to advise the president? But he basically, what we're trying to do is target some more of the rural counties, and to get more and more folks out to vote. And so, with all that being said, here's what I told him, and I can tell you exactly his words. But I said, Mr. President, what I think we should do is just invite people out, tell them absolutely we don't want them to bring a check, and everything. I'll take their questions and sit there and talk with them, and bring baby dog where they can see baby dog, which that's always something that people love and everything, and I'll just tell your story, because I'm very close to the Trump family. I know a lot about the Trump family, and I know a lot of stuff that people just gloss over, and so with all that being said, I said what we need to do is feed them some country food, whether it be fried chicken or corn on the cob or mashed potatoes and that kind of stuff, and ask them for nothing, and tell them we'd love for them to come out, and then I'd like to, I'll just sit there and talk with them. And then he said to me, here's his exact words, and the only reason I went through that is so you could hear this. He said, well, Jim, that's the kind of food both of us love, isn't it? And I said, 100%. And then he said, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do. He said, if you do, 5 or 7 or whatever these events, I'm going to try really hard to make it to a couple of them myself. And he said, and we'll just surprise the people and everything. So I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. you know, to this event or the up and coming events, but you know, truly, I really believe with all my soul that if you're fair and you ask yourself the first question, is this country really on the right foot right now? Is it really right? You know, what's going on? And you know, there's so many good things that are happening in West Virginia. You know, I'm not going there in Pennsylvania to sit and talk about me. I mean, for crying out loud, and I'm not into running all over the place campaigning for me, because the people of this great state, they know me. They already know me and know me really well. And so you know, if they decide in their mind that they'd like to have me as their senator, well, they'll vote for me. And if they decide that they don't want me for their senator, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I love the people of West Virginia. And so I entrust everything in them. You know, so with all that being said, I'm not going there to say one word about me and everything, but we got a lot of great stuff that's happened in West Virginia, and we need to tell the West Virginia story. But beyond that, you know, I am very committed to the fact that if you knew Donald Trump, like Jim Justice knows Donald Trump, you would absolutely be so all in for Donald Trump to be our next president, because we're in crazy land right now. Absolute crazy land with the high stakes risk off the chart. And so I'm gonna go try to do my part, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, let's hope and pray that Donald Trump's our next president.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next up is Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, Governor, staffer, and fellow reporters. Governor, I want to follow up on the situation with the Greenbrier, because you're right, it's not just about finances. It has gotten political. For example, your opponent, Glenn Elliott, the Democrat nominee for Senate, says the indication of the finances with your companies, not just the Greenbriers and the continued financial problems, is a reflection that you are not going to be a good fiscal steward weighing in on the federal budget as a U.S. Senator. And he's also taken issue with some of your comments about how you're, quote, not a D.C. guy and not really into the D.C. culture and scene, and you don't plan to spend a majority of your time there. And so he says for those two reasons, people should not vote for you for the U.S. Senate. So address the financial piece and address the attendance in D.C. piece.
Let me do the attendance first. You know, when I walked in the door here, you know, I heard all the same kind of noise. You know, well, you're not going to be there, you're not going to do this, you're not going to stay in the mansion all the time, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, and everything. And all I've heard is that garbage, and that's just what it is, just garbage. You know, and I'm different. I do things differently. It's hard to argue the success, isn't it, Mark? You know, and you know, if you wanted somebody that was going to come to the governorship and sit in here and just nod at everybody and have them come in and glad hand everybody, ask them for money, and then you know, really and truly just ask them for the fact that, you know, that they're buying influence. So let me tell you this and that I'd like, you know, I'd like you to give here and do that and everything else, and then glad hand everybody coming or going, get an absolute gold star for perfect attendance, and accomplish zero. You see, Mark, that's exactly what we did. We did it forever, didn't we? We did it for decades and decades and centuries. We've done exactly that. And you know what we got out of it? 50th. Dead flat last. Dead last. And then in most situations, what happened is governors, you know, took their pay, got a big salary, got a big pension, on and on and on. And they're gone. And then we check in the next one. Well, you see, you didn't have that with Jim Justice, did you? You had somebody that was different. somebody that was a business guy, somebody that stepped up and served, somebody that really came here and did exactly what they should do, and is now, by the Cato organization and everything, says third best. From a popular standpoint, they say fourth best, fifth best. You know, I mean, all of a sudden, West Virginia is doing it in every way. Now, you can tell Glenn Elliott that he can kiss baby dog's hiney. I mean, here's a guy that really and truly, you know, failed almost as a mayor of Wheeling. And so really, when it really boils right down to it, for him to sit down, what else does can he cling to? You know, I would just say just simply just this. You know, I go back to judge me by my deeds. Mark, how many people have we employed? How many people does Glenn Elliott employ? We employ thousands. Well, when you have thousands and you have as many organizations as we have and everything, and Mark, think about this too. When we sold stuff for hundreds of millions of dollars, we could have just stuffed our money away and gone off to the Cayman Islands and hung out. I didn't need to be your governor. I mean, we could have played and played and played. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it at all. People would say to me over and over, well, why didn't you just do that? And here's the answer. And this is exactly how I feel. And Mark, it doesn't matter if you buy it or anybody buys it. But this is exactly how Jim Justice feels. I believe that God above made me Jim Justice for a reason. And you who you are for a reason. And Allie who she is for a reason. I believe that, Mark. And with all that being said, if what we had done is made a great big deal for hundreds of millions of dollars and had the money and gone off and played the rest of our lives, I believe the good Lord looks back at me and says, I made you who you are, Jim Justice, and gave you your creativity, your mind, everything he gave me, and I'm not happy with you. I'm not happy with you because you should do more. You should be doing more to help people. You should absolutely be investing your money, putting it at risk. You should be doing more to help people. And that's what I do. Because at the end of the day, in my world, Mark, if I believe the good Lord looks back at me and says, Jim, I'm not happy with you right now. You're being selfish in what you're doing, and you're just doing this for you. At that point in time, Mark, that's all that matters to me. If he says to me, Jim, I'm not happy with you, then really and truly, I don't want that to happen. And so Mark, as far as I'm concerned, you know, like I said so many times, the voters know me. You know, we run through the streets screaming, oh gosh, Beltway, 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 this and that and everything else, and we rile up a bunch of people. And I would say to all the media, I have told you over and over and over what would be the final outcome. You know, I've told you that. And I have been dead splitting the bullseye over and over and over and over. And when you run through the streets screaming fire, all you do is really, really hurt those 2,000 people. I know what the outcome's going to be. And through all that, we work as diligently as we possibly can. I know that absolutely that God above is looking after us, our family, and he's always going to do that. He's going to look after all of you and everything. I've known where we were going to go. We run through the last time I was on, we had 7 questions and 6 of them were referring to, oh my gosh, the sky's falling. And all I can do is just sit and take the questions and be respectful, and that's what I am every time. I'm every time just that. You know, now, at the end of the day, I'll do the job as senator just like I've done the job as your governor. It probably won't be the ordinary look. You've got the ordinary look in Washington right now. Do you like the ordinary look? I don't. I don't like any part of it. So I'll do it, and I'll do it really differently. But you know what I'll do? I'll deliver. I'll deliver. I'll deliver where you can step back and say, and I can say, judge me by my deeds. I've done it since day one as your governor, and I'll do it as a senator as well. And so with all that being said, we can jump up and down and say, oh, Jim Justice has got all these financial issues and everything. Do you really know that? Do you really know that, or is that just the rhetoric? You know, or we're going to jump up and down and say, well, Jim Justice won't just go there and sit and everything. He won't. I promise you he won't. You know, I'm not going to go there and just sit and get my gold star. You know, I'm not going to do that. You know, and so I'm going to go there and get something done. Now, if you like that, West Virginia, then I'm your guy. If you don't like that, I understand that too. But, Mark, that's all there is to it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mark. Next up is Brad McElhaney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Good morning. Good afternoon. I hope your well-known dog had a good birthday, and I did like her Pirates hat. Well done shoring up the Greenbrier's finances. My question is about the Public Employees Insurance Agency. PEIA is looking at significant increases for premiums and deductibles as part of a proposal to make up for an estimated $113 million for the coming fiscal year. In the past, your administration has made up for these kinds of increases by pushing for pay raises for public employees. But as you've mentioned, you're not going to be here next year. Would you recommend the next administration pursue pay raises to make up for those increased insurance costs? Thank you.
Brad, I would, I love the fact that basically, you know, forevermore we've froze, you know, PEIA, and for years and years and years, we didn't have a change in any way. And then, you know, because medical costs continue to go up and up and up and up, we changed the structure into an 80-20 plan and everything, and to be more in line. But to do that, we knew that it was going to cost our employees money, did we not? And so, you know, we really pushed really, really hard for the additional pay raises, and we got them and everything. Now, going forward, so the net cost to our, you know, to as far as health care, to the folks since I've been here, the net cost is basically zero. And so, and in addition to all that, you know, that they've gotten very, very wonderful pay raises that you know, in the last couple of go-rounds, you know, may have had to cover, you know, their medical costs and everything, their medical, you know, increases there. But at the same time, in most every single situation, there was still a lot of money left over, you know, that their pay raises were significantly higher, and all was good in that. Now, Brad, my recommendation to the next governor or the next 100 governors is going to be just this. You know, this sounds a little, you know, maybe snotty or whatever, but I would just say, you should get the playbook out from the first State of the State address that I came up with, and really look at a lot of the things that we said in the first State of the State. You know, basically in the first State of the State, we said we're going to quit grading our schools, which was a marketing plan that was terrible beyond belief. In the first State of the State, you know, I said, we got to do something with our highways, and this is our bridge to really get us going, because we need a job in West Virginia. We need jobs where people absolutely are not leaving our state like crazy. And then in our first State of the State, I said, you know, we got to be basically just this. We got to be frogs that are proud of our own pond, and we got to do something with, you know, in regard to tourism. And then lo and behold, we've got to put real money as we go down the road into economic development because we got to bring jobs, whether it be the Nucors or the Berkshire Hathaways and everything else. So I would recommend to any governor, watch the first State of the State address and really and truly, I said over and over and over, what we need to do going forward is get rid of our state income tax or get us on a pathway of getting rid of our state income tax. There's been so many things happen, it's unbelievable, Brad, and you know it. And you know it's absolutely true. But in regard to PEI, this is what I would tell the governors. I would say these employees do a whale of a job. And I know they do. And there's 40,000 of them. And they're doing it over and over and over. And our teachers especially are doing a great job in many ways. We can get better, sure we can get better. But all the service personnel and all the network that goes around our teachers, is good stuff in my book. Those people are absolutely doing anything but getting rich at the pay grade that they're getting. And so if we can do anything to minimize or eliminate the burdens of additional PEI and medical costs that are eating people's lunch, we need to do it. So we need to mind the store. We need to absolutely take care of our people, but first and foremost, we've got to take care of the economics of the state. Now, that means let's, for God's sakes, live and not do a bunch of dumb pet projects that spend all of our money away. We don't need to do that. And from a standpoint of, help from D.C. in regard to medical costs and so on like that, sure. D.C. ought to be helping towards medical costs, maybe not, chiming in money, but what they ought to be doing is we ought to be bringing manufacturing back to where, certain medicines are not costing us, 18 times what they're costing in other countries or whatever it may be. There is so many things that we can do. But Brad, to answer your question, point blank, I would do everything I could possibly do as long as we mind the store properly and look out after the economics of West Virginia. I would then do everything I could possibly do and recommend everything I could possibly do to the future governors to try to do something that would absolutely ensure that our folks wouldn't be hurt by the rising cost of PEI. So yeah, Brad, I would do it in a second. I've already done it. I think the people that work in this great state don't make enough money. We've tried to do pay raises upon pay raises, and 5 of them, 5%. 5% was the highest ever. We've done 5 of them. And so with all that being said, I would surely recommend to the future governors to try to do everything they possibly can do within the constraints of minding the store. Do everything you can possibly do to give people additional pay raises to offset PEI. Sure, I'd do it.
Brad, thank you. Next up is Beth Sargent with the Charleston Gazette-Mail.
Hey, Governor, it's Beth with the Gazette-Mail. Happy belated birthday to Baby Dog. Hey, and the Gazette-Mail will be at Bridge Day, so got that covered. Anyway, my question is about the Greenbrier. I mean, you obviously are under no obligation to disclose details about a private family business, but you have done that in the past. And I think a lot of people, especially on this call, appreciate that because, rumors sometimes get more traction than the truth. So can you tell us any additional details and the public about how this debt was settled and the public auction was averted? Thank you, sir.
Beth, I think I can, and I'll make best stab at it. Like I said, I always appreciate your questions. The Charleston Gazette's probably not been the kindest to me at times, but you've been really professional, and I always appreciate that. But Beth, and I'm going to try to do this without disclosing any, confidentialities, because you're always under confidentiality stuff. But Beth, you got to go back and you got to think just this: how did this happen? And there's sometimes that things happen that are self-inflicted wounds. I mean, to where you just got a situation to where you've got $1 and you got $10 worth of obligations on that particular day, and so you're doing the best you possibly can do, and you got some people that are not happy and some people that are happy, and you got that. To me is just something that is kind of self-inflicted, that you just got to own up to, and you just got to do the very best you can possibly do and work your way through it. Because any business in the land, I don't care if it's the Charleston Gazette or it's J&J Plumber, whatever it may be, any business in the land, has ups and downs and bumps and everything, and the good businesses are the ones that survive the bumps and keep going forward and take care of obligations and move forward. But Beth, then there's things that happen to folks from time to time that are really come out of left field and aren't very fair. And in this one came out of left field and was anything but fair. I don't know how to tell you any more than just that and tell you the truth, but what happened here is and it's true. It's as true as God could ever tell it. And that's just this, Beth, is we had a loan with J.P. Morgan that was, at one time, it was a line of credit that was $200, and I underlined that, but $200 million. It was totally unsecured. Absolutely not even a personal endorsement. Nothing. I mean, or personal obligation. Nothing. Totally unsecured. Forget endorsement. That was a mistake. But totally unsecured. And then along the way, and we had a great relationship with these people. I mean, a great relationship with the J.P. Morgan people. Greg Gusselman was one of the I think Greg's title is the head of worldwide private lending. He was probably the third highest ranking person in all of J.P. Morgan. And then he got sick and has cancer. And then he's getting chemotherapy, from what I understand. And he's a great friend with my son Jay. Now, I don't interact with J.P. Morgan at all. This was Jay, or for the most part. And so anyway, Greg Gusselman's sick. He's got cancer, and he's having chemotherapy, and he has a heart attack. Now, he's out of the picture. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, no phone call, no nothing. All of a sudden, we find out that we've paid J.P. Morgan's note from $200 million down to $9.4 million is what we owed them. And just paid them a bunch of money in June. On top of that, everything's just happy in the neighborhood. And then all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, we find out that they have sold the note. We're notified by Beltway that they've sold the note to these people in Washington, D.C., Beltway. And they've sold the note probably for even less money than the $9.4 million. Well, why? Why would you do that? Why would you not call us? Why would you not call Carter Bank? Because this is going to be a pain in the butt and cause Carter Bank a bunch of problems. Why would you do that if it weren't 100% political? Why? Jim Justice is going to be your next senator. He had just finished the primary. Why in the world would you do that if it weren't political? And so then, Beth, what happens after that is just this. You're in a real situation and you've got a real dilemma. And somebody's discovered leverage like you can't imagine. Basically, what could happen is the Greenbrier could have been destroyed. And by that, from the standpoint, if you consider these 2,000 people that work there at the Greenbrier losing their employment, yes, that's, to me, is destroyed. You know, so with all that being said, then it becomes an issue that, you know, these people don't ask for $9.4 million. They turn to you, Beth, and say, I got to have $24 million. And you say, well, there's no way I'm going to do that and everything else. I got to have $24 million, and we're selling the Greenbrier. Not the whole Greenbrier, we're just selling that one building. Well, welcome to my world. My world, being a politician, you know, lo and behold, you are in a situation that is 100,000% political. And welcome to my world, that basically Jim Justice is now scrambling around having to come up with $15 million and just throw it away, in order to take care of those people and take care of the Greenbrier, which his family loves and will love forever. It's no fun, Beth. It's no fun at all. Now, you know, Beth, our businesses are in good, solid condition. I'm not going to be braggadocious about what we have and what we do. You know, I surely can't get into the fact, well, we did this and we did this and we got this money over here in this shoebox and this over here, everything. I'm not going to get into all that, Beth, but the net of the whole thing is it's all paid off. It's all taken care of. Beltway is gone. And you know, if you're looking at just the mechanics of how you could sit down and go through the internet and look, and people do it every day, and come up with a way to get somebody into a situation and then basically extract a big payday. You know, people do it every day. And so it wasn't any fun, and I don't think it's fair, but it's taken care of, and the Greenbrier, you know, will flourish in a lot of different ways now, and but this has hurt our business and caused a lot of grief and a lot of sleepless nights, because this one came as far out of left field as you can possibly get. You know, like I said just a few seconds ago, but you know, Beth, if you do something, running a business, you make a decision, it doesn't work, and then you've got a mess on your hands and you're trying to deal with it and everything, that's your doing. That's my doing. That's our kids' doing. You know, I mean, that's you know, if it just doesn't work out that way, you know, you understand you were responsible, you know, and it's your mess. Clean it up. But when you have something happen like this, my goodness gracious, this one's been really tough, really tough. And of all things in life, you never expected this one, you know. But we're gonna keep on doing what we do all the time. We work hard, we do the right things, and nobody ever said it was going to be fair all the time. And so, Beth, I don't know, you know, there's beyond that, I'm really under confidentiality. I can't really tell you much more than that, but that's it.
Thank you, Beth. Next up is Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Good afternoon, Governor. Thank you so much for taking my question. And we'll try to scoot back here just a little bit. All right. Hey, Governor, I wanted to ask about PEIA as well. Specifically, I just was wondering what your position is on PEIA's proposal. Of course, they're proposing increases across the board. What is your position on PEIA's proposal? And what is your message to public employees and their families who now face sizable increases and less money in their paycheck as you leave office?
Curtis, I think I can answer this one quickly. You know, they're proposing what they have to propose. You know, I mean, that's how it's all set up. And And so from the standpoint of PEIA, you know, if we don't watch out, it's just going, you know, medical costs continue to rise on and on and on. The legislature passed an 80-20 bill. They're proposing what they have to propose. You know, the net of the whole thing is just this. What did Jim Justice do? He knew that the health care cost of on our people, the burden on our people, was going up. He fought tooth and nail till he couldn't fight anymore to get everybody those pay raises. What did Jim Justice just say in regard to Brad's question in regard to going forward? He would fight tooth and nail, you know, going forward, you know, if he were your governor, to get additional pay raises, to be able to help people through. I mean, you know, Curtis, you know it. For crying out loud, you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas lines, you go to anywhere, you go to your energy costs at your house or whatever it may be. You look at the bills that are coming in every direction known to man, especially with this Biden administration. And I hope to God above that President Trump can straighten it up, but it's not going to get straightened up just like that. That's all there is to it. You got people that are really hurting. I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, for whatever the smaller amount may be, you know, in every way, whether it be the child care tax credit or the, you know, the reduction in personal income tax, it doesn't go very far. It sends a great message. And the more messages we can send out, the better we'll be, because more people will come. But Curtis, you know, when it really boils right down to it, all I can say is I'm only going to be your governor another 2 or 3 months. If Jim Justice were your governor, hands down, he would fight tooth and nail to do additional pay raises to offset these costs, because people can't stand but so much. That's all they can stand. And so I, you know, I think we'll do that. I hope to goodness that we'll be able to keep the good times rolling in West Virginia and mind the store properly and not do a bunch of pet projects and throw our money away. And we got money in all kinds of rainy day funds and everything else that's sitting around everywhere to the tune of well in excess of $2 billion. I mean, crying out loud, you know, that's 40% of our total budget. You know, so we've got money sitting around in all kinds of, you know, rainy day funds and everything that we've been able to put there and grow there and everything since we came in the door. And so I think we're in good shape there. And I hope to goodness that future governors will do everything they possibly can, you know, to be able to minimize the burden on our people. We got good people. And they're doing anything but getting rich on the salaries that they get from a standpoint of, you know, state government. But nevertheless, I would do everything I possibly could to help them.
Curtis, thank you. Next up is Brianna Haney with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Good afternoon, Governor. Congratulations on the Greenbrier. Was some or all of that funding received to satisfy the agreement with Beltway from a private hedge fund called Fortress Investment Group?
Brianne, if it's Brianne, if it's correct.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that, you know, like I said, I'm under a level of confidentiality, and I don't know that I can disclose that to you. But we have had several conversations, and we've got a lot of stuff that's cooking and working with Fortress and everything, and they're good people, and you know, so I've had a lot of interaction with Fortress and done a lot of work with them.
Okay, thank you, Brianna. Next up is Bob Aaron with WCHS TV Fox 11.
Governor, you accurately predicted what was the outcome was going to be with the Greenbrier situation, but your remarks today sort of imply that perhaps you guys had to take unfavorable terms in order to get out of this thing in the deadline? Is there another speed bump down the road, or are we good?
Bob, I couldn't understand really clearly, but I think basically you said that I accurately predicted the outcome of the Beltway situation and asked if there was another speed bump down the road. And I would tell you, Bob, that the Greenbrier's on great grounds and solid footing. But with all that being said, I would be very foolish to tell anybody in any business that there's not speed bumps ahead. There'll always be speed bumps. That's all there is to it. And you just got to be able to weather the storm and get through the speed bump and move forward. You know, that's what I say. You know, the next bump that happens and everything, surely to goodness, after we've pulled this off 19 times or 19,000 times and everything, businesses, when you basically have somebody that said, I'm going to be your governor, and I'm going to be your governor first and foremost, night and day, I'm going to be your governor. And a lot of people think, well, you know, how can he do all that with all this other stuff and everything else and everything? I'm going to be your governor. That's what I've said I'm going to do. And literally, all of a sudden, we are exploding to the good side on being your governor. And then I tell you that my family, whatever that situation may be, that bump, it's going to get worked out. It's going to get taken care of. And it does. It does. At some point in time, somebody's got to say, well, I'm not going to be concerned about this because that's what he told us. And so, but Bob, is there more speed bumps down the road? I don't know of the next speed bump. And I don't have something that I'm concerned about at all. I think absolutely that the Greenbrier is as solid could ever be. And our family loves the Greenbrier, and I don't know of another speed bump. But with all that being said, will there be? Yeah, sure there'll be. There'll be that with every single business on the planet. Now, if you want to sit on the porch and you wanted me to just do that in life, you know, well, where would we be? Where in the world would we be? If when we sold out to the Russians, I had taken the money, put it in the bank, invested it in some kind of stock or whatever it may be, let them send me the return on the money, and I would sit on the porch, and then what I would do is I would hunt and fish, maybe coach the basketball team, and literally just hang out. Where would we be, Bob? You know, I mean, let's just step back and think. You wouldn't have had Jim Justice as your governor. If we'd have had just what we had over and over and over and over, what did West Virginia do? 50th, 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 50th. You wouldn't have had Jim Justice as your governor if I'd have been just sitting on the porch doing nothing. The Greenbrier would have been a Red Roof Inn by now. It had been owned by the Marriott, taken down to 700 total employees, and a 3-star resort. That's exactly what was going to happen with the Greenbrier. Where would we be, Bob? You know, would we have ever had the Greenbrier Classic or the tribute to the military? Would we really have the New Orleans Saints or the Denver Broncos there at the Greenbrier? You know, where would we be? You know, if I would have just taken the money and sat on the porch, you know, it'd have been so much easier for me. But you see, I don't believe in that, Bob. I never have. And whether Bob believes it or Mark believes it, I absolutely believe it with all in me. And so I don't believe in doing that. It'd have been a lot easier, but I'm not going to take that route very often.
Bob and everybody else, thank you for coming on today. Governor, back to you.
Okay, I'm not going to go back through and review. You know, yesterday was an amazing day and blessed in a lot of ways. You saw that incredible rainbow and Baby Dog's birthday and lots and lots and lots of goodness happening all across the state of West Virginia. Let's just keep it going, West Virginia. Absolutely, keep it going. We're going to run through the finish line here. I'll promise you we're not going to coast. We're going to run through the finish line. We've got lots and lots and lots of great things right around the corner that we're going to be announcing to you, and West Virginia is going to do it. That's all there is to it. Thank y'all.